We are going to start writing up your research proposal. You have a total of 8 groups. You talk with your mentors, I think, during the past few weeks, so that you really know what you're going to propose. The timeline is pretty tight, so I would like you to really use this time that we have in class to work as a group and work on your specific sections. So today, it's already August 5th, and I will give you a little bit of an introduction of of the elements of the proposal, which section should be in, what should be included in each section. And next week you will start writing up all of those sections together. If you need an IRB approval, then you will also do the application together so that you know which application form you have to fill out. And then on August 19th, we will complete your proposal and also work on your PowerPoint presentation, because part of your final exam is presenting your research proposal to the class. And then after presenting, you will get feedback and submit your final proposal. That will be your final exam. And everything that you see here is a group project, but when you upload it on Canvas, you have to just upload individually. I know that I will receive exactly the same 5 proposals or 4 proposals based on your group number, but I would like you to upload individually. So the research proposal, the template the template is on Canvas. If you go into submit final exam, you will find a Word template that looks like this. So on this, you will write all of your group members' name, your class, and the name of your mentors, the title of your research project, and when you submit for your final exam, you will sign and your mentors will sign. That's only for your final exam. And in between, I will ask you to submit your aims and significance section, part of attendance. So there will be some reminders before you submit your final exam. In between, I will send you a reminder to send your aim significance page, your methods page, so that I can see your progress as we move along. So here are the sections that need to be included: the aims, objectives, and significance, background and rationale for the study, materials and methods, future directions, references, and budget. So these are all the sections, and the template is on Canvas. Did you find the template? Were you able to find the template? Yes? Okay, and it's in the submission of final exam. So there's the Word template, including all the sections that you need. So at the end, when you submit, it should look like this: your name, your group member's name, your class, which is dental hygiene senior class, mentors, co-mentors, and all of your signatures. And then the aims and objectives section, the background section, materials and methods. It's always nice to have diagrams or flowcharts to really explain what kind of methods you will be employing. And then references and the budget. So this is how it should look like. It's about 3 to 4 pages long. And the proposal that you're writing today, or will be starting writing today in the fall, is pretty much the blueprint in the summer. It will be the blueprint for your fall quarter as you are carrying out your project. And in the fall, you will collect your data, and at the end, we will present it at the homecoming and at the CDHA. And after all the presentations, if you feel that the information that you gathered is really good knowledge that you would like to share. Ultimately, we try to write up a manuscript and publish it in a peer-reviewed journal. And I think I mentioned to you before, the 2 years before, we had a dental hygiene class presenting and writing up their manuscript, and it got published in the American Dental Hygiene Association journal. And this is the same with our DDS students. If you feel that this is really good knowledge that you would like to share, you write it up as a manuscript. So here are all the sections again, and this gives you an appropriate sense of how long it should be. The aims, objectives, and significance is about a half page. Background and rationale. This is your literature review that you do. Can be as long as 1 page, and then the materials and methods page should be very articulate and specific. Future directions, just 1 paragraph of what you think this project would carry on in the future, references, and the budget. The budget for all of the student research projects is limited to 250. So if you think in your project you need some materials, need funding, this is the budget that we can help you with. So the most important part of writing the research proposal is to work as a group, and always contact your mentors regularly to have guidance and really discuss whether this is feasible. Because you can write up a beautiful proposal with many subject numbers, but if it is not feasible in the fall, that might become challenging. So make sure that you write up a proposal such that it is feasible and a project that you are excited about, and a project that is worthwhile to do as well. And the most important part is really your aims, objectives, and significance section, because based on your objectives, based on your hypothesis, that will drive pretty much the design or the methods that you will be employing. And in your specific aims, you have your objectives, your hypothesis, and then your long-term research goal, overall objectives. What is the difference between objective and hypothesis? Because everything should be included in your specific aims section. Your objectives, your specific aims, and your hypothesis. Those are 3 different things. How are they different?
You have to test hypothesis.
Correct. The hypothesis is really specific. It's your null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis, which you base your statistical analysis on. So the hypothesis, it should be really phrased so that you can do your statistical analysis. Yes, the general goal or objective of it. And aims is a little bit narrower, more specific than the general goal. So those are three items that should be included in the specific aims and hypothesis section. So here, for example, this is an example. There was a student project that wanted to look at the need or efficacy of doing block out on models for home bleaching. Did you have your home bleaching or bleaching? Huh?
Yeah. We're working on it.
You're working on it? When will you be working on it?
Thursday.
Oh, did you have your lecture already on home bleaching? No. But you're aware that for home bleaching, you take the impression of your patients, right? and then you fabricate the tray. And there are different types of fabricating the tray. One uses block out resin. Are you aware of that? Familiar with that? Not really? Okay, so on a model, you put a little bit of a resin on top of the facial surface so that when you fabricate the tray, you have a little bit of space where the bleaching material fits in. So this is fabrication of a home bleaching tray with block out resin. And there is another method where you don't put in the resin. But many manufacturers recommend the use of block out resin, and this student group just wanted to test whether the block out resin is really necessary. And this was an interesting project because at the time I was teaching at the College of Dentistry in Iowa. It was mandated for students to put on block out resin. But then this student thought, is it really necessary? And in the literature, it's very controversial. So she sets the tone in her aims, specific aims and hypothesis section, that the need of reservoirs is really controversial. And therefore, the objective of this study was to evaluate really whether it is necessary to use reservoirs. And she had the two following aims. So this is a general objective. Is it necessary to do reservoirs or do block out resin when fabricating home bleaching trays? This is the general objective. And she had two specific aims. Determine the efficacy of trays made with and without reservoirs. This is her aim. And then she hypothesizes. So this is the hypothesis is matched to her statistical analysis, that there will be no statistical significance in color change among the two different techniques. And then her second specific aim was to determine the time and cost associated with completing reservoirs. And her hypothesis was that the time, it will take more time when using reservoirs. So you see the objectives, the aims, and the hypothesis. They all match together, but it gets narrower and narrower and narrower. And then she concludes that the results will be very significant in serving as a resource in the decision-making process, and whether the college would continue the use of block out resin. So this was a very simple lab project, but we see that it is controversial. She has her objectives and states the significance of doing this study. And this is about half a page. And today, after this presentation, we will start up. All of you will gather as a group and start writing up the specific aims and the hypothesis section. This will be your main assignment for today. And then later on Friday, I will ask you to submit your specific aims and hypothesis section so that I know that all of you have a specific direction and know what to do. Because if the hypothesis is not there, the materials and methods cannot be there either. So let's start writing up the specific aims and hypothesis section today. And I will be here today as you are working in a group to help you if you still have questions. And you can also contact your mentors who might be available today in the morning to really guide you to the specific aims that you will be addressing. The background section is pretty much your literature review. So you wrote your specific aims section, then you have to really find out what is there in the literature that I need to know to be familiar with this topic. So this student, for example, would have to really find all the articles related to block out, whether the advantages, the disadvantages, whether there are similar studies that did this before. And it's okay if there have been studies that did this before. You just have to find out whether it matches, whether it's similar, or whether it really contradicts other studies. So this is the background, and that's what you did already. You already listed your 5 top articles that you will be reading, but sometimes during the write-up of the proposal, you will find more articles, replace some of the articles that you have searched before to really find the most relevant articles to support your study. And in the background, there should be a rationale of how your research will fill the gap in the literature. And when you write up your background, make sure not to use the same words as in other articles, right? You cannot copy and paste. What is the term if you copy and paste somebody else's, right? So we don't want to do that. And make sure that if you write something or refer to an article, to reference it and cite it exactly in the background. So the background section is the section where you will cite all the references that you have looked for. And then the materials and methods should really describe how your data will be collected, what methods you will be using if you're doing a clinical study, how many subjects you will be using, if you are doing a retrospective study, how many data will be collected, what is the span of your retrospective review, so everything should be included. And in the materials and methods, I mentioned that before, it's really helpful to have a diagram or flowchart of what you will be doing. And you also will have to talk to Dr. Oyoyo about your statistical analysis. And then the future direction, it's really what you would like to do in the future, because most of you will be doing some kind of a pilot study, and how you would like to see it progress in the future. And the references, you will start with your 5 references that you already searched for, but then you will include some more, and it should be about half a page long. And then the budget, 250, just itemize what materials you will be needing to carry out your research project. And after you write up, we will do a research proposal presentation. When you do your presentation, the presentation should be about 7 minutes long. You will present as a group, and if we have, for example, 5 members, 1 member can do the introduction, the other one the methods, and the other one the statistical analysis, and the last one can wrap it up with future directions and budget. So you will present as a group for 7 minutes, and then you will have questions and answers time. And since we will be having a total of 8 groups, make sure that on the day of presentation you put everything on the desktop so that we can just quickly go through 8 presentations. And when we do the presentation, I will be doing the faculty assessment. All of you that are presenting will do a self-assessment on your presentation, and everybody listening to the presentation will do a peer assessment. And the assessment paper I will upload on Qualtrics, so you will get a link on how to assess your peers and yourself as well. I would like you to also have a look at the rubrics that we are going to use for the research proposal presentation. We are going to use the oral communication rubric, which has a little bit of a critical thinking component embedded, and there will be 4 sections. We will be looking at how you organized your PowerPoint presentation, the language you're using, your delivery technique, and your skills of explaining issues that arise during your presentation. So there are 4 sections, and you will be graded as exceptional, outstanding, and you can read what we are looking at when we grade. 3 would be meets expectation, needs improvement, and fails. So this is exactly the rubric that we'll be using, and I will post this PowerPoint presentation at the end of this presentation so that you can read through the rubrics a little bit more in detail. And this is the rubrics that we are going to use for your proposal. This is your final write-up of the proposal. And here you see I'm going to grade the approach and the study design, and I will check whether the hypothesis that you are having really matches the methods and materials that you will be employing. So this is the approach and study design. Clarity of the proposal, whether you stated the significance of your study, and whether this is a feasible project. So this is the section that I will be grading. And there's also a section that your mentor will be grading, because you're mostly working with your mentors, and your mentors will grade your involvement in this proposal. So you can see students, because I don't really know whether you are really proactive in writing up your proposal. Your mentors knows best. So here we have the students very knowledgeable, highly professional during the meetings, and it goes from 0 to 6. So look at the rubrics, and the total for your final exam is 20 points. So it's a big portion of this course. So make sure that you look at the rubrics of how you are going to be graded for your research presentation as well as your final proposal. And that's pretty much it. Do you have questions?
You're going to post this?
Yes. Any questions? Okay, so we have 8 groups. Let's sit together in a group. And what I would like you to do is I will call out each group as you work. As you will be working in groups, I will call out each group to just double check that you are on track, that you have been meeting your mentors regularly, and that you really know what you will be doing and writing up. Okay? So let's start the write-up, and let me start calling up some groups.
Let's go near AJ. Oh,
I'm gonna grab my jacket.
hey, Billy.
I'll be right back.
Because you said I couldn't sit there, I want to sit here.
And the purpose of today's class is to really work together on the specific aims and hypothesis section.
That's the issue.
I think we should make it
This, the blue one at the end.
We could, yes, we could mention somewhere that does have other reasons as well. I think we should ask.
Okay, guys. When are we gonna get
I think we should do surveys with our dentist there.
The first thing we need to do is that's like what is your knowledge about our dogs? So should we try to do
with all the
Because those two things are.
I'm confused as to like what format, like what are we writing?
Yeah, I looked at it, it has a format, but I can't
really
remember
have it
what
one.
it's not the same one she has up there. Are we doing this? This is the research proposal. Because that's all she had posted.
Friday we don't have class.
What's Friday?
For the announcement.
Friday we don't have class.
No one.
The teachers have to see.
Yeah, it's just funny. Yeah, we like sit on top.
And everyone's like,
I don't care really.
So maybe that's the Friday we're gonna work out. I'll let you guys work. Statistics.
Our proposal. The high school.
So we can just type it off.
Is she? Awkward. Didn't know that. Add the question to the survey, the pictures. What are these little PDFs at the bottom?
Oh, I added those. They were just like other articles I found, but they weren't like top 5 worthy.
Okay.
right on the one, you have to write it.
There was a good one I found though, but you had to buy the article.